Good morning everyone. Myself Soumitra Das, fitter instructor of Government ITI Huda running under PTP. Today I discuss about bearing. A bearing is a system of machine elements which performs the function of supporting an applied load with reduction of friction between the relatively moving surfaces. The applied load can be radial, axial or combination of both. The objective of using bearings are to hold the shaft in right place and guide it, to reduce the friction while shaft is running, to support the shaft and the spindle, to run the shaft without any interruption. Desirable properties of the materials used for making general bearings are high compressive strength, low coefficient of friction, high resistance to corrosion, sufficient fatigue, high thermal conductivity. It should be soft with a low modulus of elasticity. Bearing can be made from bead metal, bronze, cast iron, silver, gunmetal, non-metallic bearings, soft rubber bearings and wood bearings. Now I discuss about classification of bearing. Bearing mainly two types: anti-friction bearing and friction bearing. Anti-friction bearing are two types: ball bearing and roller bearing, and friction bearing are single journal bearing. Anti-friction bearing. In such bearings, there are rollers or balls fitted between the shaft and the bearings which separate them for each other. This enables the shaft to rotate easily. Here the picture shows the parts of a anti-friction bearing. At first, rolling elements. These are made of chromium steel or chromium nickel steel. They are shaped like balls, parallel rollers, barrel taper rollers or needles. Next one is inner race and outer race. Race is highly ground and polished. It is made up of high grade chromium steel or chrome nickel steel. There is a raceway of grooves in the inner and outer race which guides the rolling element. And the last one is cage. Cage is made up of plastic or brass steel and separates one rolling element from the other. The rolling element and the cage are in between the inner and the outer race, such that the rolling elements are placed within the cage. Now I discuss about the plain friction bearing. Here I show a picture of plain friction bearing. This bearing is used for shafts which run at low speeds. The shaft and the bearings are in direct contact, which increases the friction between them, and hence the use of lubricants is essential. Plain bearings are generally made up of gunmetal, bronze, brass, cast iron, etc. Parts of the plain friction bearings is housing, bearing liner, segment, oil inlet, drain and journal. In the next video, I tell you the details of plain friction bearing and anti-friction bearing and their uses.